Okay, hello. Today I did a little exercise modeling a simple top yoke, and in this video I'll be showing the results, talking about some of the design considerations, and then I'll go through the feature timeline to see how I put it together. Just a short disclaimer, this is in no way best practice or the most efficient way of modeling this part. As you'll see if you watch the other video that this was not my original approach to modeling it. So first off, I decided on the most basic simple shape for the top yoke with the addition of the ignition barrel mounting location. There are also a couple of pinch bolt locations as well for clamping the forks. And for most people this is basically all that you see on a motorcycle. And since this is kind of always just on your nose, I think it's actually one of the most fun parts to play around with the design. And I do like to look at other manufacturers' designs. I think Kawasaki do some really nice ones at the moment. So whilst the top can be quite nicely designed, the bottom is often Swiss cheese. This is from weight reduction and then kind of added stiffness with ribs. Overall, I'm relatively happy with the result here. Nothing fancy. There are some things to consider which I came across halfway through and had to go back and redo, take a different approach, as I mentioned at the beginning. But one thing that you may notice if you have a keen eye, there is this slightly sharp edge around the middle of the part. This, for people that are not aware, this is a split line where we'd expect the molding to split if this is a cast part. So assuming that this is inside a mold, the two parts would split here, so the top would lift off and then you'd pull this out the bottom. The reason we have this line, you'll notice that there's actually a slight angle here. That's so that we can pull the top of the mold away and pull this out of the bottom of the mold. You'll notice that the bottom is also drafted with angles as well, so each of these pockets are drafted at 3 degrees and the sides are drafted at 2 degrees. The amount of draft you need is really dependent on the material, the depth of the feature, and then by manufacturer. So it's not 2 degrees and 3 degrees is acceptable in all conditions. It's just what I've used here. Another reason why we'd have the draft is not just so that you can remove it from the mold, although that is one reason, but if you have too steep of an angle, too steep of an edge, then it's going to be added friction when you're opening and closing the molds, and it can reduce the life of the molds themselves, so that can be more expensive for your manufacturing process. Okay, then we have the machine cuts, all of our bores, our drill features. All these are going to be machined after the fact, after it's been cast. And it's generally best practice to keep all machine features at the end of your model. The reason for that is because two reasons. You want to easily be able to see what is your cast model condition. So what is the mass, the raw materials you need in your cast model, and then also you're probably more likely to have cast drawing in addition to your machined drawings. So you'll need to suppress the machine features to create your cast drawings, and then unsuppress to make your final drawings. So yeah, just some extra points I wanted to share there. Okay, so how did I model this? So starting with the sketch, I'd originally thought to model half of it and then mirror it across, but I very quickly mirrored it across, so it's not so much reason for having done that. And then, as I said, I didn't follow best practice. I put some machining in the very beginning. Then I put the cut for the clamping areas, and then I mirrored that across. And I positioned my ignition barrel surface, and this is where I had the plane for, not this plane, this is where I had the plane ready for drafting. So you'll see that very slight change on the edge here. So by having this plane on the midpoint, I use it for splitting the surface and pulling each the top and bottom symmetrically about it by 2 degrees. And we can also select this surface in there as well. Then after that, since we have the cuts coming through here for the drilled holes for the bolts, instead of using the shell feature, which would do some funky stuff around this area, I just opted to offset some of this geometry and then include or add some additional material around these areas for those bolts. Then just some rounding to make it a bit tidier. And then here there is the bosses that come in from the ignition barrel mounting. But since I wanted to go all the way to this surface, you see it extends a bit too far on the top, so I just very untidily from the right side with some reference geometry, I just extruded and cut that material away. Then combine that into the main body so that I can put some rounds and make it a bit more natural. Then I want some rib stiffening between these two parts. So here's the rib, and then you want a rib between the center point to one of the pillars, and then I mirrored that across to here. Then I did more rounding of various edges, and then we have some chamfers for the machined parts as well. Some last machining details, cutting these surfaces away, mirrored across, drilling the holes for the mounting. Since this edge is quite sharp, it's not very nice, maybe a little bit brittle, I machined that part off, cut that off, and then I just rounded and then mirror that across. So this is my final result, which I'm quite happy with, but I will consider doing another top yoke using some more interesting designs on the top, and perhaps also using surface instead of solid modeling. So if you're interested in that, please look out for some upcoming videos. Alternatively, if you're interested in seeing me actually go through the whole process of modeling this, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll chop up the video into something more consumable and upload that as well. Okay, thank you. See you next time.